Sentinel, Cypher, Killjoy, Deadlock, Vise, Sage, Chamber. Oh, wait. Chamber is more of a duelist with a trap than a true Sentinel. Cypher, Killjoy, Deadlock, Vise, Sage. What do all these agents have in common? The ability to hold a site alone. Today we're going to talk about the role of the Sentinel. What is the role of a Sentinel? It depends on which side of the game you're on. Let's start with attack. Here it's pretty simple. You have two options, supporting your team's push or lurking. Each Sentinel has an ability that can assist during a push. Cypher's cages, Killjoy's grenade, Deadlock's gravnit, Sage's wall and orbs, Vice's flash. Chamber has his pistols, so we're going to classify him as a duelist. The second option is lurking. The main idea of lurking is to gather information on the enemy's rotations and either flank them on a late timing or quickly rotate your team based on the information you provide. It's worth noting that often, even at ascendant rank, players don't play slowly enough to support a lurker. They won't wait for your information or your play. So, be prepared that by the time you've made your way from a barrier on ascent to a main, your team might already be wiped out, and you'll be blamed for not playing with the team. Unfortunately, that's just the reality of this game. Now, let's switch to the defensive side. Here, you have one option, but it's more complex in my opinion, holding the site. Each agent is equipped for this in different ways. For example, take my favorite, Cypher and Deadlock. Both agents have abilities designed to give you an advantage in gunfights. Meanwhile, agents like Killjoy and Sage, well, even Chamber's trap can work here, are designed to delay the enemy from pushing the site until your team can rotate to help. But what is the main task of a Sentinel? Survive. The longer you stay alive, the longer you can use your abilities. This is especially true for Cypher, Deadlock, and Chamber. Killjoy and Sage are more limited because their abilities are one-time use, as is Vice's, aside from her flash. Your goal is not so much to kill everyone as it is to delay the enemy long enough for your teammates to arrive. And if you manage to snag a couple of kills in this situation, that's fantastic. But don't forget the principle of survival. Inflicting damage and retreating alive can be far more valuable than staying in the site until the last moment, hoping for a miracle. I'm sure you've seen those players who, as Killjoy, hide in B-site on the boat and stay there until the very end. Unfortunately, this is not the best way to play the situation. More often, it's much better to take a position that allows you to escape the site alive. Of course, playing as Cypher, you might set up a great trap that's hard for the enemy to break through, allowing you to survive in the site for a long time as they struggle with your traps, camera, and one-ways. But if the enemies have Sova, Raise, or Breach, your setups won't last long. Assuming, of course, the enemy has any brains. That's why I always try to play from positions where I can retreat, or from spots that are hard to clear, like under Heaven on Ascent. I also recommend to those who like to play as lurkers, pay attention to the agents holding specific positions and their habits. This can help both you and your team. And remember, the enemy team might have a lurker too, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a Sentinel. We all know those lurking Reynas. So, as a Sentinel, make sure to warn your team about a possible lurker. Remember, you're playing with your brain. That's all from me.